Welcome to the Giving Business Soul podcast. In this time of great change, we need a new blueprint for business, one rooted in soul. Here, we explore consciousness, metaphysics, human optimization, and Christ's teachings with individuals and guests who embody this philosophy. Join us as we bridge business and soul. Welcome to the Giving Business Soul podcast. It's absolutely a pleasure to host you, Meyling.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is going to be a treat just because, I'm a big fan of Meyling.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just to give you a little bit of background on Meyling, she's been in Farmers Insurance as a business owner now for a few years, and specifically has been in that side of things for about 8 years. And the reason I'm such a big fan is that, she came from Nicaragua and immediately got into that business and started to do really well. And within 5 years became a part of the President Council, which is no easy feat. There is thousands of farmers insurance agents, and in any industry, whether it's mortgage, insurance, to get to President's Club, it's a very select group.
Top 1%, actually.
Top 1%. So, watching that and witnessing that from her, that's why I was like, okay, this is an incredible businesswoman. And and obviously we have some history, but before we get into all that, I really want to know a little bit about, obviously, your country of origin, which is Nicaragua. I've been really fascinated with just how, when individuals come into this country and they have sort of that immigrant work ethic, that when you apply that kind of work ethic, this country, really treats you well. And I know that that's one of the big things that I took from my own father. He always told me that. He says, you work like an immigrant. And, when I've told my father this many times is that just by giving me that and that work ethic, as well as the name you've given me, you don't have to give me anything else.
Exactly.
I can take care of myself from here, Father. So I would love to hear a little bit about your story, about, how you grew up and why you decided to come to this country, and what is it that you did in order to get to President's Club so fast? What's the secret, Meyling?
Yeah, okay. So I was raised by a farmer boy. By farmers. My dad is a farmer.
Oh, beautiful.
And my mom used to own a grocery store. Mm-hmm. So both of them were business owners. So I grew up looking at that, I will say, like that lifestyle of not being an employee, but an employer. So when I came here, but actually I got married to a Nicaraguan who was living here.
Okay.
So I immigrated here. I actually had a business in Nicaragua that I had to leave behind because I was going to have a family now. And so I married in 2012 in May. That was when I moved to California. Okay. And back in 2012, I got different ways to see should I apply as my environmental science background, or what can I do? But I see a lot of opportunities. When I came here, even though the economy wasn't as good, I saw a lot of opportunities to do different things. So I was kind of evaluating how to do it. And I applied to different jobs. I never got anything. And so I said, okay, it's been 6 months and I don't want to be just doing nothing, just waiting for something that is not going to happen.
And you were coming with a master's degree in environmental science. So it was like you already had the education, the academics behind it. And even like that, it was challenging to find something in that profession.
Super difficult to find something. I got selected in 100 resumes. They called me from Riverside County. They said, oh, you have a really good background. We want you. So you got selected within 100, then within 30, then within 10, then with 5. And then they do an interview over the phone. And then they say they want to see me in person. And they selected 3. And this is already 6-month time frame.
Wow.
To be on the 3. So I went for the interview and they just send me an email saying somebody else got selected. That was when I said, no, I had to do something else. And maybe if I had to change career and do something else, I'm just going to do it. And I was watching this commercial on TV saying, oh, do you want to become an insurance agent or an insurance broker? Come and apply to this position. Come in person. So I went in person and I said, oh, they asked me, do you know anything about sales? I just lied. And I said, yeah, I do a lot of sales back in my country. I don't have
Totally.
it, but no here. And they said, okay, sell me this cell phone. And they
Oh,
and
really? They
had
did one of those, huh?
They had me sell something. So they liked me and they just hire me. And I was working for that broker. I worked for that broker for about 3 years.
Okay.
2 or 3 years. So while working for that broker is that I realized the customer service, the business was more sales driven. And so I said, oh, there is a need here to have something where we can care about the customer, where we can actually, instead of doing a transaction, just actually build relationship and have a product that is gonna be there for the customer when they most need it.
I love that.
And so I went to apply for Farmers. I Googled some companies there, and I saw that Farmers is a well-known company. The customer service is really good. Their claim service is really good. I said, okay, this is the company. I'm going to go work for an agent first to see how everything works. And then my idea was always to become an insurance agent, to be my own boss, to be a business owner. And so I worked for that agent for a year, and then I went straight to apply directly to Farmers. I said, I want to be an insurance agent, what it takes to be an insurance agent. And then they just hired me as an insurance agent.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. So what piqued your curiosity with insurance? I mean, it's not like, typically that's, it's probably like accounting, it's like mortgage, it's like, what? How did you find insurance? Like everyone that gets into the mortgage industry like that, like I've been in that space for 25 years, it's like we just kind of happened to fall into it. We talked to somebody, we interviewed them. But what was it for you that you just said, wow, I feel like this is a great industry. This feels like I can do really good here. What was that for you?
I actually saw the need. Like I said, okay, you cannot do anything without insurance in this country. So my mentality was first the actually benefit of being an insurance agent. I said, okay, everyone needs insurance. You want to buy a house, you need insurance. You want to buy a car, you need insurance. So everything here needs insurance. So that was a need. And then I said, and I can do it in a better way where I can actually help customers. Because that, like the way I was doing it before,
Right.
It was giving me a lot of stress because I was the manager of one of the locations, and all the bad customer service, so all the issues fell into myself. So I felt like I couldn't even handle that much of a stress because of the situation in that broker side. So I said, oh, okay, let me go ahead and do it with a company that can support my mentality, like help customers.
I love
And that was when I switched over and actually found that during the process of getting my feet into the business, I felt like, this is something that can be wider than just having a business. How about building a team, or how about, and that was when I kind of like, honestly, I want to say like the first 3 or 4 years was really difficult. I was working 7 days a week, 7 days. Monday through Saturday in the office, and then Sundays I will go to the Swamis, have my tent there and have my little booth and offer my services one-on-one. And then COVID hit, and I couldn't go to the Swamis anymore. And so how I do it, and now that I can't reach people, and so I actually started to get a little stressed out because I'm the one who always like to perform. I'm at my highest, and I am the one like the go-getter. I since the first year as a farmer's agent, I was able to get to the top 10% topper clubs. I did topper clubs first year, second year, all the years up until year fifth. But I got to a point where I was stressing out a lot because I was demanding a lot of time for the business. The first 5 years was really hard. Go, work. And I got this actually disconnected and between my mind, myself, and I was so disconnected and just giving myself to the system. Literally, I was giving myself to the system because now I had employees. Now I had a boy in 2014. I had my second boy. So I was a mother, business owner, marketing person, the administrator.
Wow.
I was doing sales, so everything got into me to a point where I was actually somebody else. Wow. Literally, I was actually somebody else up until I got to meet you guys in the third floor.
Right.
It was pretty funny how I always say, because I'm a believer, and I think God will always connect you to the right people. And when you listen to God, you can identify when something is in that direction and it's talking to you. So I came to the third floor to EXP. I was invited as an insurance agent to present my services. So I came to offer my services to the real estate agents. And then I was invited to the workflow or flow shop. The flow workshop.
Wow.
And that was when actually everything that you mentioned there, it got to my point where this makes so much sense. I need to, like, I felt the call.
Yeah.
Like when somebody is knocking at your door and you felt the need to open the door. And that was when I said, okay, I needed it. But by that point, Francisco, I was already facing a divorce. I was already stressing out a lot. And I was going through, I would say, one of the most difficult times in my life where I stopped being me and I actually was giving myself to the system.
Yeah.
And that was one of my more difficult times.
Wow.
I remember I had in 2021 when I faced that divorce, and I realized I need to do something. There was something that I needed it to change. Like I felt like everything around me, it was the result of something within me that I needed it to kind of analyze what's going on. I needed it to do something. And the first thing that I did, I got a little bit training with the emotional intelligence course. And when I came to the workshop, I actually said, oh my God, so this piece of emotional intelligence is connecting to this other world of more self and study of yourself and your shadows, everything that you talk about, the tokens that we lost through this time frame in your life, and everything makes so much sense. Wow. That I said, okay, I need to take that course, and I signed up the same day that you guys offered the course, and it has been a blessing.
Wow. As you're sharing that, there's a couple of times there where I'm feeling like the energy in my body quite a bit, especially when you came to that crisis moment, because I feel like so many people, that's kind of when really we're more available for God's sort of guidance, right? Until then, it's like we're kind of doing it our way, and we're in survival mode, and we're doing what we have to. And then all of a sudden, it's like, God answers the prayer through a coordination of events, right? It's like, you're sort of in a deep place inside of yourself, like, why? Why is this happening? And then all of a sudden, this Holy Spirit, I like to call it, the organizing principle, it organizes events and meetings with people. And your role is to like, is this what I've been sort of praying for? Is this what I've been asking for? And it seems like that was the case, and you had the courage to then move forward with it. And it obviously sounds like it's been, a big transformation that's occurred.
Yeah.
So that's really beautiful. But I want to unpack this a little bit too, because one of the things that you shared in your story, I think that is important, I think, for people to understand that when you are walking this sort of path of the soul and you want to do great things in business, a lot of people kind of want to be where, their ideal situation already. But it never starts like that. You have to go through things. And so like in your case, you were there at that brokerage first for like 3 years, and it was chaos, and a lot of people, they pivot. I'm out of here. This is not for me.
It doesn't belong to me.
Yeah, exactly. And so you stood with it though. And it's like, no, actually, I am learning here. I'm learning how to sell, and that's great. But I'm also seeing there's a better way to do this, and I can use, my business background, and maybe I can do something where I can bring a level of like experience and better service. And all of a sudden, it starts, something starts to be born inside of you.
Amen.
You start to see like, oh, all those things in the past that I've been through, it's actually kind of leading me into something. And I know that when I first got in the mortgage industry, it was like that. I got in and immediately I'm in a brokerage in West LA, and in the brokerage, it's like the way that they would treat their customers and the environment and the culture. I was like, this is something's up. And I thought to myself, I feel like I can do it better.
Exactly.
And at that point, I also was in the top, I became one of the top producers within a few months because of the immigrant work ethic. I was there first, I left last, and I just did it. And I was such like, wow, I love this industry. This is fantastic. I can help, Hispanic homeowners. I can help them improve their finances. People like when I deliver great service. And all of a sudden, I was like, I can do it better. And then I opened my company, and all of a sudden that takes me to the next sort of part of my life's journey, And so I think I love that, because I think a lot of people, again, they're just wanting to be somewhere else. It's like, if you're in an uncomfortable situation, it's okay. Like there's some growth, there's some learning, there's some feedback that life is giving you. Instead of saying, hey, I'm out of here, like, maybe it's developing a plan.
What is this teaching me?
Exactly. So what was that like for you then? So it's like you're there, it's 3 years, it's chaos. It's like, I like this industry. But what was it for you specifically? Anything that kind of comes to mind?
Yeah, it was a really challenging process to kind of let go the salary of a manager to be able to go to the unknown. Because when you're a business owner, you don't know how much money you're going to take home. And especially think about, I was living a paycheck to check. I mean, I didn't have savings. I didn't have much money I have this much money, I'm going to open a business. No, I had rent, car payments, all you can think is bills that I needed to pay.
A lot of responsibility.
And so in the back of my mind, because when you're a business owner, you're a little risk taker, right?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to resign on Friday and I'm going to go apply to be a business owner on Monday. But the reality is there's a lot of people around you that you got to consider as well. And a lot of people around me was holding me of, don't do that because that's too risky. You don't know this country. This country has very economy that fluctuates a lot. Mm-hmm. You can have a lot of really good years, and the next year you can go down. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to understand, this is not Nicaragua. Mm-hmm. You didn't come. This is not Nicaragua to open a business. You got to understand the economy is difficult here. But in the back of my mind was, I know I can do it. Like I have a lot of passion for when I do something, so I know I can do it. And if there's something that I always remember is my dad when I used to...
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. When I was I remember I was maybe 7 and I was in the back of a room and he was talking to somebody, his best friends in the living room. And I heard he said, oh, my middle child, she's really good. She's super smart. She's my champion. So that word right there, it always stays with me. And so when these people are saying, you can't do that, it's too much of a risk, we don't have the money to open a business, go ahead and just stay there. In the back of my mind was, no, like no, I can do this. I can do this. I have the passion to do this. And I just, without consent of anybody else, I just did what I was called to do. Like, I feel that was a call. Like, you were going to resign today. And I was October 16, 2017. I put my resignation to this agent. And next Monday, I was applying for farmers. And that was really a time where a lot of fears came to me because I heard the other people saying you cannot do it, but I was excited too at the same time. And I was just praying, God, you have me here with a purpose, and I'm just going to follow through. Tell me, show me what I had to do. I'm going to always honor your name. I'm going to always say that everything that I have, it's God has opened the doors for me. Because anything in this earth can be moved unless God's willing. So I know God called me to open the business and to be a blessing for a lot of people. And it's funny, through all these years, through this time, I always have connection with people that I work with my customers. The other day, I had a customer, never talked to her, but just happened that nobody picked up the phone and everyone was busy, and I got the call. And she said, I need to make changes in my policy. And through the conversation of the changes, she brought that she's getting divorced. And so it was like a 2 hours call. And short story, I end the conversation praying for her, giving her some encouragement about the process, telling her that she can count on me, that I'm there for her, that I'm not just the insurance agent, but she has a friend where she can talk to me, and kind of giving her some spiritual guidance as well, saying, like, people say you never talk to divorced people about your marriage situation, right? But in this case, and I told her that.
Sure.
But in this case, I said, no, you talk to me, and I'm just going to tell you, go to God. God is going to give you the answers. I'm not going to tell you, do this, do that. No. God is going to give you the answers. Just pray, connect with God. If you need to fast so you can connect with your spirit, fast maybe one day, and offer that to God, and ask God to guide you through the process. And so that's how my business has been connecting me with people that I can help. And that's where I feel that's my main purpose, to be here, to be a good or to be for good for my business, to be for my customers, to be there for my customers. Yeah.
It's a great story. Yeah. I mean, what are the chances that you pick up the phone? You know, you never do it because you have a team, you have a staff, and then all of a sudden it's a woman that you can relate to very much as a woman, as someone that's experienced your own divorce, and you know, now you can give that level of guidance. And I mean, that sounds like a really beautiful, profound experience for both people, you yourself and her, and to know that you're running and operating your business from that heart. You know, that's, I think, and I'm always a big fan because I can see the way that you move. What is it that's making you emotional?
Right now?
Yeah.
About everything that my faith has brought me to connect with really great people, and I'm really grateful for things that God has done in my life. And I remember that story brought me tears because she opens up with me. She doesn't know me in person, and that connection through the phone. She said, I just have a lot of going on. And she opened with me all her story about what she's going through. And she starts saying about how she feel like insecure. She's like connected to like the way I was feeling before.
Yeah.
And so that kind of mirrored my own spirit experience. And I was able to give her support. I was able to listen to what she needed it to say. I just said, let it go. Just let it go. In your room, just connect with God again.
Yeah.
Because that's going to give you the strength to go through this. And yeah, my business has been a really, really blessing to be able to help other people and to connect with other people, and not only be for profit, but being there to give that word of hope to other people that are going through difficult situations.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I can feel the tenderness in the room as you're sharing that. And when you really begin to understand that business is an incredible vehicle, to touch people's lives, to live on purpose, to feel like you're living, what God has designed for you, that you're becoming like what I was feeling when you were sharing that is just like that recognition that you are becoming an instrument of God's will.
Amen.
Yeah, and being able to like touch people. And I know that a big part of what is coming up for you next is, leadership and women's leadership.
Amen.
And so yeah, I do feel like there is this, guiding light, this organizing principle, this Holy Spirit that just continues to guide you in the great unfolding of your journey through the earth. And when you have the courage, when you listen, it becomes, it's mysterious. It's very powerful. And, now that you're deeper onto this pathway as well, it's like, some of the opens that I've done in my events at the summits, I'll say something to the degree of like, it's really because of all the pain, the tragedy, the heartbreak, the triumph, the pleasure, the joy, and my ability to embrace all of it and be okay with all of that. The only word that suffices to God is thank you. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like, and when you really embody that, you don't have to be grateful. It's like there's the gratitude is a perfume that comes from the person that has acknowledged that all their pain and all their pleasure, it's all been a design by God's plan.
Amen.
And when you just feel that, you embody that, it's like there's just such a great mystery in this game of life, And as I always like to say, the two things that bind us all is the love and the suffering. But when you start to embrace that suffering and realize that it's been a part of your process and you have no resentment, you use it for growth, you use it for manure, you evolve, you grow, and it becomes a beautiful journey. And it seems like where you are now, seems like this Holy Spirit is just guiding you further and further along into this process.
Amen.
And so I'd love to maybe discuss, one of the things that I'm a big, champion for. And remember you had shared that story about your father and, how he spoke those words and not even directly to you. It sounded like you heard them.
Yes, I was in the other room.
Yeah, you're eavesdropping and, but you pick it up, right? And it's like, that was also a part of the journey, right? To hear that, because that was the energy that was needed in order to kind of propel you to where you are. And I think when we were having our lunch, we sort of tapped into that and we uncovered that, and you just sort of like made that, I think we made that connection a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, and thought, oh, this determination, this thing, it's coming from that place. But we, because for me it was very similar. I shared, I had situations that occurred in my own, young life where, I became just like wanting to be the best. Mine came from, experiencing my mom leaving on her honeymoon after she gets remarried and feeling the sense like, what just happened to my mom? She left me. And I felt this deep sense of like, I'm not lovable, or she left. And so then I developed this, I want to be the best so that I can win love, so that she'll never leave me again. And so I worked, incredibly hard at my academics, at my school, at my body, at sports. and it really allowed me to move really powerfully through the matrix. But it also left me exhausted, tired, depleted. It's like if I get to a party and they're playing a board game, I'm gonna get in the board game. I'm gonna win, And it was just like
that's just your mentality. It's a winner's mentality always.
Yeah. But I feel like at times though, it was misdirected. It was like I didn't have to use that energy everywhere, but because it was so deep in my unconscious, I didn't realize until one day. It's like I was like, oh my gosh, that's where that thing was coming from. And, and it was a big sob, a big emotional release. And, and I thought to myself, is everything that I accomplish really, for this, for that reason? And, I finally was able to integrate that pain. And now I just became conscientious of the power, of that determination and drive. And so now I direct it. It's like I don't have to go into the party, and if they're playing the game, be involved. But before I was like I had to get involved because I had to demonstrate that to love me.
Yeah.
That I could gain love. How is that process going for you now? Like, are you more conscientious of that champion? And like, where do I put this? Where do I put it?
It's super powerful to, like, the course that I took with GVS helped me to uncover some of situations that happened before to me. Mm-hmm. And I remember this exercise that you asked us to write down a story between 7 to 20 or 7 to 18.
14 and 10. Yeah, 14.
Something that happened in that time frame that impacted your life. And whatever came to my mind first, that's what I was going to write. And I love my dad. My dad is my hero.
Yeah.
So, but in Nicaragua, there's this culture of a man is not for one woman. They have normally multiple affairs. And so my dad had affairs, and I love him with all my heart. But that actually, my first love is my dad, right?
For the little girl.
Seeing that happen, and my dad, I betrayed my mom, and cheated it multiple times, and that happened exactly when I was 7 and 14.
Those 7-year cycles.
That cycle marked my life. And when I took the course and I was able to uncover that, I was even in tears when I had to write that down. Yeah. And I literally uncovered that situation that happened and related to many situations where I always want to be. I said, I'm self-sufficient. I can do it in myself. I don't need a man in my life. So for that situation that happened, I was always wanted to do things for myself. I don't need anybody else to come and rescue me. I'm going to be a single mom. I even said it. When I was 20, I said, no, I don't need men. I didn't date until I was like 21. I said, I don't need men in my life. Even I do want to be a mom. I want to be a mom, but I don't need a man to be next to me. I do want to have kids and children, but I don't want to have a man. And so I was a single mom at age 23. And that happened because one day I said it. And that situation when my dad brought me in, I can tell you that I love my dad. I forgive him.
Of course.
I have a really good relationship with him. But those things that happen actually modify some of the things that I face in a daily basis. Even it's so difficult for me. It was so difficult for me to trust people.
Sure.
Because the first love of my life betrayed me.
Right.
And so when I went through the course and I was able to uncover that, it doesn't mean that, now I'm so perfect, that doesn't affect me anymore, but it puts some labels to the situations that I live now. And I can relate that and say, hey, maybe I need to just take some breathing here. Maybe I need to digest this situation. Maybe it's not what I think it is, because this is just an open wound or a shadow that I'm facing this situation right now, but that is coming from this situation that I had before. And so those situations that happens in my life store somewhere in my mind, but I just related to those situations when I see something else happening. For example, an employee telling me something that they can't come to work because they have so-and-so going in their life. And for me, do I believe that, or do I not believe that is true? Is that true? And so then I got to wait a minute. This is coming from that lack of trust, because that what happened before. And so I have learned through the process to digest the situation, like breathe it, think about it, analyze,
Feel it.
Is this something that is actually coming from a reality that I'm facing, or is something that is coming from a shadow that is coming from the back of my subconscious? So there is bringing it into life. It's really
amazing.
I think that's the most beautiful part of the process in being with GBS, is the ability to identify those cycles that happen in your life, those situations that you went through, but how you face it now, how you're able to reason, put a little bit of more thinking, more feeling, like you said, but also how I can actually be more transparent with myself and say, hey, this is coming from something else. Just wait a little bit on taking a decisions. Just don't judge.
And react.
And react so fast. Yeah. That has been powerful.
Yeah. Wow. That's really amazing thanks for the acknowledgement of the round table and the Giving Business Soul program that we have. Because, that's obviously a big design about it, because I feel like when I became an entrepreneur, even though I had role models and I had read a lot of books, that sort of understanding that you just language was nowhere to be found in any of the books. It was, you take quick action on the employee and you let them go potentially, and there's another person that you can hire and they got to run it this way. And so when you come into having such awareness of your own, childhood scenarios that happen that are influencing decision making in the present time, like you said, I mean, that's so powerful, because now you have the ability to be with that situation. Like you said, feel it out, analyze it. Is this reaction coming as a result of that thing, or is this person really being truthful, and I have to be compassionate and understanding, and and through that process of filtering what it is, you start to develop great employees, great people to work with you, because they see, wow, what an emotionally intelligent leader in my company. This is amazing. I feel heard, I feel seen, and then lo and behold, they start performing incredibly well.
90% of my staff has been with me 2 years, 2 years and a half. And it's actually that time frame where I was able to understand all of this. And the 90% of my staff, I can tell you that I can count on them, and they can count on me. And we go through situations, emotional situations, and this frame of work that I have done within me allow me to also read when someone is going through pain, when someone is going through emotions, when someone is maybe reflecting her present to something that happened in the past. And so this ability to understand that is helping me to build a really strong team. And I do believe everything that top 1% that you said it's my team. Right. It's not me. There's just few policies that I can do. But to be on the top 1% of a company, you got to compete with the best within the best. So you got to be the best of the best. And so you don't do that just yourself. You need a team to be with you there. And so the ability for me to now, let me see how I can build a team. And those 2 years, they have been with me. And before I was having a lot of turnaround, a lot of hiring, and they were leave. And I was actually hiring the wrong people too. That's also something else that I want to confess. I was getting people that were actually there to try to get advantage of me.
Yep.
And I was hiring people that were not even, engaged with my philosophy.
Yeah.
My whole team is engaged. My whole team, they said, we got you, Meyling. Oh, I need to go on this trip. Don't worry, we got you. Sales are there when I'm not there. Things are happening in my agency when I'm not there because they're engaged. This is them. This is them running a business. And the only thing that I needed it to do is just to work on myself. Because how do I can help others if I'm not able to hold myself? Like how? There's no way you can do that. So that work, it's still in the process, right? It's a work in progress. Has helped me to build a really, really strong team. I can tell you, people offer my team to come work for other agents and they don't go, not even for a higher pay. They stay with me because they trust me. They trust me. They love our culture and the agency. They love how they feel. Because something that you have to understand is people not always are going to the best bed. Some people are more engaged in emotions, and that's what they love how they feel there.
Exactly.
And even when I'm going to hire somebody, if I'm going to bring my team to get to know the person that is going to be there, and I even ask them, what do you think about this person? It's like I don't impose anybody in the team unless everyone is agreeing to having this person in the team, because we have a culture of this is our family. We spend so much time together. Like this is your second family here. We want to make sure everyone is happy. And they're not looking at their clock. Oh, I had to clock in at 9 and leave at 5. Sometimes they said, oh, it's time to go home. I can't believe it. It's already 5. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, guys.
Flow states.
They just kept going.
Yeah.
I have people in my team that they even say, can I come on Saturday? I need to have things done because the day went fast.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Well, you're sharing just so much gold in here, because on one thing, that we've been making a huge distinction around is that there's such thing as personal development and then there's soul development. Maybe what you did all the way to get to become a business person, you were doing personal development and learning business strategies and tactics and sales and marketing things. It's just good. It's necessary. But if you operate just strictly from that, as you were languaging, we don't make the best hires. Sometimes, the people that come around us based on the frequency we're holding at that time, they're coming in to take advantage, to maybe steal from us, intellectual capital and different things like this. And then what you're saying is that, I sort of hit a crisis moment, knew that I had disconnected from myself. By divine orchestration, you find the Giving Business Soul community. You dive into the round table, the Soul Accelerator program, and you start to uncover all these unconscious patterns that you begin to integrate and accept and recognize. And then through that process allows you to be someone that's much more present, someone that can hear much more deeply. And when you can start to hear and see deeper because you're so much more still inside of yourself, to the way I kind of say it sometimes, it's almost like you have an unfair advantage, that's why you laugh.
No. So many agents ask me, what is a Meyling? I'm going to spend a day in your agency. I want to see how you run your business. Yeah. And I always say there is something that is missing in the puzzle. There is a missing piece that you got to first connect to yourself. Yeah. Understand how you operate, why you react this way to situations. And then once you do the process of healing yourself, because you're going to find out once you connect with yourself, you're going to find out so much pain, so much wounds, so much situations that we go through that makes us who we are. And it is good to have gone through difficult situations, because that also shapes who you are.
Right.
But if you understand what happened and you're able to stay still when you have a situation where your heart is going boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But you understand, okay, let me digest, let me analyze, let me feel it, let me connect it, let me heal, because I know it's coming from this part. Let me seal again that hole. Like, let me seal it right there. And you're able to understand what's happening and why you're feeling this way, then you can take better decisions in the business. And for me, when I tell my other agents that they want to be in my agency, they want to do, I said, how about you first understand who you are and the things that you're going inside of you? How about you? And I have refer you agents that wants to get better at what they do. And it's not about, it is about taking some courses. And I always say, you go to a conference, you learn so much more. And what is the difference between the ones who go back and apply some of the best practices? And what is the difference between the one that they don't do it? And so there is the process. The other process is good training platform, they get good resources. You take a lot of knowledge, mentorship from big agents. There's a lot of programs outside that they offer really good information. But once you have this other part of your soul, how understanding yourself, this is the missing part that I believe people are not connecting everything together.
Yeah.
And yes, you had to be grateful. You had to make sure you're always doing good in the business and all of that. Yes, you have to
take care of your body, all those things.
You take care of everything. You're like a merchant. You understand that you had to work on yourself, but also you had to be a leader, and people see what you do.
Yeah.
People see what you do.
All eyes on you.
Yes.
All eyes on you as a leader.
So the best way to train a team is to develop yourself and see they will see what you do.
Yeah.
And if you hold yourself respect, people are gonna respect you. So you don't have to go preach, hey, you gotta respect me. But if they see you respect yourself, you hold yourself to this level, everything around you start doing the same thing. Like, you're the leader. People look at you. What you say, even when you talk to a customer and then the customer was giving you so much trouble, how you handle it, they're looking at the agent. Oh, you're my leader. What are you doing? How you handle that?
Yeah.
If they see you that you're talking bad about the company that is giving you an opportunity to have a business, they're gonna hate the company too. So this is all around it all around you.
That's great. Yeah, just having that level of understanding, like you said, where all eyes are on you as a leader, and to acknowledge that. Thank you for how many farmer business owners I've worked with. I've had like probably a good 8 of them at this point that have their own offices, and they just pretty much like, well, Meyling said this would be good. And then all of a sudden they're in it, and it's like, I'm not assigning anything to them. They're like, are you going to give me homework? I'm like, no, but it's just that, once you start going through the curriculum and the course and you start to uncover these things, it's like, this level of awareness, it's like you really kind of rise up that map of consciousness. And you just start to see the world differently because, you've settled a lot of the emotions that are inside of you. You can see better, you can hear better, and that starts to provide huge advantages. And I call it kind of like an infinite return because it starts to influence all areas of your life, your finances, your physical, your relationships, your business. Your children, it ripples into them. And the frequent, I know I would love to talk about that. And it's like, but I think that one of the great things that I see in your organizations is I like to say it's like, we make the distinction in Giving Business Soul between corporations and organizations. Corporations are these corpse, right? These dead entities, soulless entities. And then you have organizations that are more like organisms, and they're alive, and they're being powered by merchant archetypes, right? Soul-centered leaders that hold a very specific frequency, and your organization starts to feel like a garden, where it's like there's the right soil, the right water and light and nutrients. And then because you're holding the frequency of evolution, because you're an evolving leader that's constantly like looking at your own stuff and going, okay, why does that upset me? Why is that going on? And what's happening here? And they just continue to see you evolve. And as a result, everyone in the organization starts to evolve. And then now people walk in and they're like, why does it feel so different in here? Because there's like a buoyancy, there's a bubbly energy because people are in love with the environment. And I know one of the great features of what you've done as well is you've integrated the philanthropy, which is a cornerstone of what Giving Business Soul is here doing, is to, really share that philosophy that if we bring, philanthropy and business together, first we got to work on ourselves and heal ourselves so that we become, these greater individuals. And as that happens, as you did it, I want to do philanthropy. I want to go and also use my resources to the betterment of humanity. And I would love to have you share about what that process has been like. The first time you went on a home build, and then you did a home build where you sponsored it, and team members went, and what has that
and
done?
Other farmers agents too.
And other farmers agents. So you're like you're starting to bring all these individuals in because, that's why I'm also such a big fan of Meyling, because I feel that when someone in an industry shows a better way, everyone is looking for that, and they didn't even know they were looking for it. And all of a sudden, it's like, wait, she's doing, and then and it's like immediately, it's like, what is she doing? And now you have multiple people that are in farmers, and I can only imagine this is going to keep spreading, But what's that been like to integrate philanthropy? What was it when you went to go build your first home? And what is it like to have that in your culture?
Yeah, one of the modules in the roundtable was the sacred leadership.
Yes.
And that literally like opened my heart, and I was just flowing like, oh, this is something that I want to do, and I have been wanting it to do it, but you just get into a system where you go do things around, and you never had time. But when I listened to that and I learned about this module where they were saying about this is the transition where you're being a prophet, but you're also using the profits to give back to the community. And when I heard about Jeremiah saying about the bill that they were going, I said, I'm going. That first bill, I cannot tell you how much it opens up my heart, not only to understand that that's my purpose right there. I felt like so much realization by doing that. And when you're thinking, oh, you're going to go help somebody have a shelter, you're actually helping yourself. Because that actually opened up so much joy and so much doors for me and so much blessings that came that year that I went to the first bill. That year was when I was selected to the top 1% farmers agent, because my business just went double the business. And right after I did that, and I feel like God meant to put me in this environment with this course, with you guys, with the Prosperity Homes. Because that year, right after I signed up for the course, I finished it. Right after that, we got the insurance industry crisis. We got into a crisis where farmer had to cancel most of the customers. Probably like we had a retention of 90% and we went down to 50% or 60%. So we lost so much clients. But because of the concept that I had through the course, and I have been done the work, I have been working so hard on that work, interior work, and connecting to myself, I just lay back and I said, okay, what is this showing me? What is this teaching me? There's something that is being taught here. And the only line of business that was open, because auto and home was literally we were bleeding from auto and home. The company was bleeding from auto and home policies.
Got it.
So when they said, we're not doing more autos, we're going to have a restriction with autos, we're going to non-renew a lot of auto policies, and we're going to non-renew home policies. That was when let's sit down, let's analyze what is left. Oh, business insurance. Okay, I'm going to tell my team, we're going to do business insurance now. We're going to sell business insurance now. And I pivot to business insurance in 1 week.
Wow.
1 week we were doing auto and home. 90% of our new business production was auto and home. And the next week we were doing business. Wow. That was end of 2022, beginning of 2023. So that year we did amazing. Oh my God, our sales went super high. So we qualified for our second President's Council with business insurance as well. And now we're ranking number 3 in the company and the district and the whole territory. We're ranking number 1 in the district. We're ranking number 3 in the whole territory.
And this is in Southern California.
For business.
Which is, this is the 6th largest economy in the world. And you're ranking number 3 in commercial and business insurance.
In the territory. It counts all the West Territory. Wow. Yeah. And that happened because auto and home was. And so in that time, I cannot tell you, maybe we went from 13,000 farmers agents to maybe 10,000. A lot of agents sold. A lot of agents went out of business. Other agents just resigned. Other ones had to be terminated. But that when I had that talk to my team and I said, we're not going anywhere. We're just going to get stronger. This is just a process where we're going to see what is being teaching us.
Wow.
And let's go ahead and let's move. Let's keep moving, because I don't see you guys going on unemployment. I think you guys can do this. And I empower my team, because otherwise, without a team, I cannot do it. And they buy into the idea of doing business insurance.
Wow.
And we did amazing. I remember 2023 and 2024 was some
of your best years, yeah.
My best years, yes.
I love that. I and I think that's one of those other things that, we talk a lot in the Giving Business Soul community on the path of the merchant specifically, where it's like, whenever you're being presented something, it's, a lot of times when you're not into this work, it's like, I'm a victim, let's go look for something else. And instead, you just sort of stood with it and go, okay, what am I being communicated by spirit? Okay, I'm going to pivot. This is the industry I committed to. And all of a sudden, you redirect all this energy, and immediately it starts to open up, right? And immediately you start to get the rewards of that, and it becomes reinforcing. And then all of a sudden, it's like, wow, what's great revenues? And all of a sudden, second President's Club. And then, obviously you're doing the philanthropy, and that's happening. And eventually you're like, a second office, and it's like now, through the pivot, and then all of a sudden, auto and home come back online a bit. And now you have another vertical that you can go after again. And then you got the commercial. So there's all this abundance all of a sudden, on a really large level. Your second office, you're now leading, I'm assuming, 10, 12, 15 people in total between the 2 offices, ranking number 1. You have philanthropy embedded within your organizations.
And the most beautiful of everything, my son.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, because, I think it's every parent's dream to have your son. My father obviously owns a restaurant, and that's always been his dream, and like to have the family inherited, and sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't, and there could be a great sadness. And I know, like, even with my son, he's connected to my business, but he's not in the mortgage side of it. He's doing solar, and I had to relinquish that, But your son said, no, Mom, I like this. I'm going to go all in. So what's that been like?
So we went on our first President's Council in 2023, and he was already 18, so he qualified to go because you
Wow.
need to be
Yeah.
over 18. So he was 18, and this was a 7 days cruise in
I
Alaska,
remember that.
and I got to be with the best of the best agents, and that literally changed his life, like the way he saw, oh, mommy has a business, but now it opens up a lot more perspective of what the business, the potential of the business is. And so he went to the cruise. He hung out with the best agents, people that have been 25 years, the president's councils, 30 years of amazing agents. And they were at the casino playing. And he said, Mom, can I play $100, please? I never played this. I want to learn. Okay. And all the agents were, okay, we got him. Don't worry about it. We got your son. Son, come on, sit down here. And then start playing with them. And then they were bidding at a 5,000, 10,000, and then he comes like this. Mom, these people have money. These people are rich. These people have a lot of money. They were bidding at 1,000, at a 5,000, and I'm with my $100 that I lost in the first bet.
Yeah.
And they were giving me money. Oh my God, I want to be a farmer's agent. And so that year, the farmer CEO, Raul Vargas, told him, if you want to be here next year, you had to earn it. You had to get your property and casualty license, and you had to earn it. And right after we came back from the trip, he went and got his property and casualty license, and is being just the best producer in commercial. My son specialized in commercial. You see him working big accounts,
That's amazing.
customers, big business accounts with 5-10 millions. Really hard, difficult business to place, and he has done it. He has learned, and he has grown so much in a year and a half. In a year and a half, he has become one of the best producers in my agency, and he's all about being an agent now. He said, oh, I want to be an agent. And even he said he see himself managing people. And I'm like, what have I done? Like, what did I do? He's amazing, and he's such a great kid. He's all about, he want to buy a house already.
Nice.
He's already, like, he hates a little bit the tax because he has to pay taxes a lot now.
Yeah.
But he's like, okay, this is what when you have money, you have to pay taxes now. And he's amazing.
Wow.
I cannot believe it, how good he's doing.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, he's modeling the best, and so, yeah, Meyling, I mean, what a great story. Thank you for sharing just, your journey, the transformation that's taken place, how you've learned from the pain and the crisis, and that you've taken it, you've alchemized it, you've turned it into gold, and now you're living, I would suspect, something very close to some of your wildest dreams, having your son in the business with you, using your business as a force for God, doing philanthropy, leading people. And I'm really excited to see the next chapter. The next
Amen.
chapter of women and leadership and the embodiment of that. And so, so thank you for all your work, all your effort, for holding the Giving Business Soul philosophy and embodying it. And what is there any closing thoughts, anything that you'd like to share with people listening to your story that you feel would be appropriate, that would serve them?
Yeah, pretty much I will say that to be successful in life, you got to be grateful for the little things that you have. Like, I wake up every day and I am grateful for the just to be alive, just to be breathing, just to have an opportunity. And that's what I transmit to my team. And I said, hey, let's pray. Let's pray. Let's give thank you for what we have here, for the opportunities that we have here. We live in an amazing country that is full of opportunities, and we just take things for granted. Sometimes we just have this right here, and we just are thinking of what we're missing, but we're not grateful for the things that we have. And if there's something that is going to help you be successful, is be humble all the time, but be grateful for the things that you have. Be always grateful for those little things that are like, just to have that plate over your table, to have that food over your table. That's a blessing. Other people don't have it. Just grateful for the things that you do. Every day, wake up with a grateful heart. That's going to give you the success. And also, like, if you are in a business, try to be good for other people.
Yeah.
Because that's going to give you so much joy in the things that you do. That's going to bring a lot of more purpose to you. I feel so much purpose when I'm doing things for other people. That's fulfilling my purpose itself. Like I'm helping somebody, but I'm actually looking at this is for my happiness. I feel happy to do this. How you feel when you help others, to have that ability to be so abundant, to be able to help others. Think about this. Like, you are in a position of a helper. You're not being helped, but you have so much to give. You have so much things to give that you're in that position. That's a blessing, to be able to be a helper, to be able to be that source of blessing to other people.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Gratitude is the master key, and service is the path to purpose.
Amen.
And with that, we close the podcast. Thank you so much, Meyling. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.